Hello and welcome to the Wake Up Call Show. It's your host, Amy Ahlers, the Wake Up Call Coach. And today, darling, we are going to talk about speaking your truth. Now, this came to me the other day because my daughter, Annabella, 5 years old, just recently started kindergarten, came home from school and had been singing really the whole week the song that goes something like this. Will you follow me in a line, in a line? Okay, you get the idea, right? I won't have to sing the whole song. Perfect, okay? So there she was singing that song, and I said, oh boy, you must really like that song. And she said, well, yeah, Mommy, I do like that song, but at school I pretend to not like that song. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, and she explained to me that essentially her BFF, her best friend at school, doesn't like the song. And they do this thing where the song starts and they look at each other and go, oh, like this, little 5-year-old, cute as can be, right? However, there was something that, you know, being her mom, and of course, unfortunately for her, she has the Wake Up Call Coach Amy as her mama. So of course I'm like, uh-oh, there's some part of her not speaking her truth. So I just got a little curious. Obviously, this was a very low risk situation for her. But I said to her, well, why don't you, what's the deal? Why don't you actually say how much you like the song? And she said, well, that her friend doesn't like the song. They have this thing that they do, and that she didn't want to let her know because she might not be her friend anymore. And I really asked her about this. I said, well, do you really think that she would stop being your friend if you let her know that you like the song? And she's like, I don't know, Mommy. And I said, well, here's the thing, Annabella. And I was speaking to myself just as much as I was speaking to her. But I said, dear, here's the thing. This is a slippery slope. And what that means is that this isn't a big deal. You can pretend to not like a song or to like a song or whatever it is if you want to, because, you're just kind of going along with the crowd. But when there's something that's really important in your heart, when you can feel inside that you have a truth and that you really need to say your truth, I want to make sure that you say it. That's really important for you to be your own best friend and for you to be true to you. She kind of took that in her 5-year-old way, and I let it go. And then a couple days later, she came home from me and she said, guess what, Mommy? And I said, what? And she said, I told her best friend, I told her that I actually do like the song. And I said, oh, wow. And what did she say? And she said, she didn't really, it was actually no big deal at all. And I thought, interesting. So then, of course, knowing that we're all one and that my daughter is absolutely the greatest teacher for me on the planet, I said, where am I not speaking my truth because I'm afraid that someone won't like it? So I started looking around my own life, and I want you actually to do that right now. Just take a moment right now. You can close your eyes even if you want. Is there a place where you're not speaking your truth? Really marinate in that question for a moment. Is there a place where you're not speaking your truth? And what's that about for you? Is it that you're afraid someone won't like you? Is it that you're afraid you'll lose your job? Is it that you're afraid that it will cause a conflict in your marriage or in a friendship or relationship that's important to you? What's really holding you back? What's stopping you from speaking your truth? And then I want you to actually run the worst case and the best case scenario. So in Annabella's case, the worst case scenario was that her friend would no longer want to be friends with her. I didn't think that was very likely, but I get that when you're 5 years old and you're in school and there's all this peer pressure starting to develop in elementary school, that could feel really real. But with Annabella, she actually thought about it. I was actually surprised that she thought about it and then ended up speaking up. I was very surprised, because I get it. Like when our kids are in school, that there is this peer pressure. So what is the worst case scenario that could happen? You lose your job, the friendship ends, the marriage ends. What is that worst case scenario? Got it? Okay, good. Now what's the best case scenario? What's the best case scenario of you speaking your truth? Now, in Annabella's case, she got her best case scenario. It actually wasn't a big deal at all, and she got to now enjoy the song when they sang it. Maybe she still did like this with her friend for fun, but then they both know the truth, and she knew the truth. She knew that she was speaking up for herself. So what's the best case scenario for you? Go ahead, think about it. You can even write it down. Okay, good. Now, is it time, and I really want you to touch base with your inner wisdom here, is it time for you to speak your truth? Is now the time? Is it important? Are you out of integrity with yourself if you don't speak your truth? That's the thing that's the most important here, because we don't want to self-abandon. We want to really be our own best friend. That's what this community, that's what this show, that's what really my book, what all my work is about, is being your own best friend, is staying in integrity with yourself, listening to your inner wisdom, and then cultivating that courage to act on it. So go ahead. Think about that. Are you really out of integrity? Or is it, not really that big of a deal? Is it not necessary? Good. So now my challenge for you, darling, is if your inner wisdom is saying to you that you really are out of integrity, I challenge you to actually speak your truth today. Why not today, this week, the next time you see that person? And take the risk. I know that there's a payoff for you. I know that there's a benefit for you going for it. If nothing else, it's about you building up trust with yourself. So I would be honored for you to leave a comment right below and just let me know how you'll speak your truth. And if there is a scenario, and maybe you're doing a check-in with yourself and saying, actually, I'm really in integrity with myself. I am in alignment. Awesome. Share that too. I want to hear. I love reading your comments. And I know that there's such a value to going public and really expressing yourself. So allow this community and this tribe of incredible souls from all over the world, almost 40,000 of you now, allow this community to really support you in speaking your truth. So with that, it's Amy Ahlers, the Wake Up Call Coach, signing off, sending you much love and reminding you, darling, you are fabulous. Until next time, bye-bye.